You wake up one morning and decide today is the day everything changes. You're going to work harder, focus better, waste less time. And for a few hours, maybe even a few days, it works. But then something shifts. The old patterns come back. The distractions return. And you're left wondering why you can't seem to hold onto the discipline you know you're capable of. By the end of this video, you'll understand why that happens and, more importantly, what you've been missing all along. It's not about motivation. It's not about willpower. It's about something quieter, something most people never think to look for. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's what almost no one tells you. The reason you struggle to stay disciplined isn't because you're lazy or weak. It's because you're trying to change too much at once. You're focused on the big transformation, the grand result, the person you want to become. But while you're staring at the mountaintop, you're ignoring the single step in front of you. The truth is uncomfortable. Most people fail not because they lack ambition, but because they misunderstand how change actually works. They think discipline is built through force, but it's not. It's built through something far more subtle. And if you don't understand this one idea, you'll keep starting over, again and again, without ever knowing why. Let's start with what microefficiencies really are. They're not productivity hacks. They're not about doing more. They're about doing less, but with more precision. Think of your day as a series of tiny decisions. What you do when you wake up, how you respond to your phone, the moment you sit down to work. Each of these moments is a threshold, and most people cross them unconsciously. They don't choose, they react. A microefficiency is the act of bringing awareness to one of those thresholds and making a deliberate choice. It sounds simple, but simple is not the same as easy. The mind resists structure. Craves comfort and familiarity. When you try to introduce a new habit or routine, your brain treats it like a threat. This is why New Year's resolutions fail. You're not fighting laziness, you're fighting biology. Your nervous system wants to conserve energy. It wants to keep you safe. And safety to the brain means sameness. So when you try to overhaul your entire life at once, your system panics. It floods you with doubt, distraction, fatigue. You feel like you're struggling against yourself. And you are. But here's where it gets interesting. If you make the change small enough, the brain doesn't notice. It slips through the defenses. This is the power of microefficiency. It's change that doesn't trigger resistance. Let's talk about friction. Every action you take requires a certain amount of effort to begin. Psychologists call this activation energy. The higher the friction, the less likely you are to follow through. Most people try to solve this with willpower. They tell themselves to just push harder. But willpower is a finite resource. It runs out. Microefficiencies work by lowering the friction instead. You don't need more strength. You need a smoother path. For example, if you want to read more, don't commit to reading for an hour every night. That's high friction. Instead, place a book on your pillow every morning. When you go to bed, you'll see it. The action becomes visible. The barrier drops. You're not forcing yourself to read. You're making it easier to start. And once you start, momentum takes over. Here's where most people get stuck. They confuse busyness with progress. They fill their day with tasks, meetings, notifications, noise, and they think if they're busy, they must be moving forward. But busyness is often just a way to avoid the harder, quieter work. The work that actually matters. Microefficiencies force you to ask a different question. Not what can I do, but what should I stop doing? What's taking energy without giving anything back? The most powerful changes often come from subtraction, not addition. When you remove one source of friction, one distraction, one unnecessary decision, you create space. And in that space, clarity appears. Let's go deeper. There's a concept called decision fatigue. Every choice you make throughout the day depletes a little bit of mental energy. By the time evening comes, you're exhausted. even if you didn't do anything physically hard. This is why you scroll your phone instead of reading, why you order takeout instead of cooking, why you skip the workout you planned. It's not weakness, it's depletion. Microefficiencies protect you from this. They automate the small decisions so your energy is saved for what matters. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. Not because he lacked style, but because he refused to waste mental energy on clothing. That's a microefficiency. It's not about the clothes. It's about the capacity you preserve. Now let's talk about identity. You are not the person you think you are. You are the person your habits say you are. If you check your phone first thing every morning, you are someone who prioritizes external input over internal clarity. If you hit the snooze button, you are someone who negotiates with themselves. These aren't judgments. They're observations. And observations are powerful because they show you the truth. Most people want to change their results. But results are just symptoms. If you want lasting change, you have to change the actions. And if you want to change the actions, you have to change the identity. Microefficiencies do this by repetition. Each small action is a vote for the type of person you want to become. One vote doesn't matter, but 1,000 votes? That's transformation. Here's the uncomfortable part. You already know what you need to do. You know you should sleep earlier, eat better, move more, focus longer. The information isn't the problem. The gap between knowing and doing is the problem. And that gap exists because you're trying to cross it in one giant leap. But the gap isn't crossed with a leap. It's crossed with a bridge. And the bridge is built one microefficiency at a time. A 2-minute morning routine. A single deep breath before opening your laptop. 5 minutes of phone-free time before bed. These aren't impressive. They're not Instagram-worthy. But they work. Because they don't rely on perfection. They rely on consistency. Let's address resistance. Because it will come. You'll start strong. You'll feel motivated. Then life will interrupt. You'll get busy, stressed, distracted. And the voice in your head will say, "See, you can't do this. You're not disciplined enough." But that voice is lying. Resistance isn't proof that you're failing. It's proof that you're changing. The brain resists change because change is uncertain. And uncertainty feels dangerous. So when resistance shows up, don't fight it. Acknowledge it. Say, "Okay, I see you. You're trying to keep me safe. But I don't need safety right now. I need growth." Then return to the microefficiency. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. This moment is the only moment that matters. There's a deeper layer to this. Microefficiencies teach you something most people never learn. That discipline isn't about controlling yourself. It's about designing your environment. You are not separate from your surroundings. You are shaped by them. If your phone is on your desk, you will check it. If junk food is in your cupboard, you will eat it. If your workspace is cluttered, your mind will be cluttered. You can't willpower your way out of a badly designed environment. But you can redesign the environment. Move the phone to another room. Replace the junk food with fruit. Clear the desk. These are microefficiencies. And they work not because they're clever, but because they're structural. They remove the need for constant self-control. And when you stop exhausting yourself with control, you finally have energy for creation. Let me tell you what happens when you commit to this. First, nothing. The changes are so small they feel pointless. You wonder if you're wasting your time, but you keep going. And after a few weeks, something shifts. You notice you're calmer, more present, less reactive. You're not trying as hard, but you're achieving more. People around you start to notice. They ask what's different, and you realize it's not one thing. It's 100 tiny things, compounded. This is the magic of microefficiencies. They don't give you instant results. They give you something better. They give you a system. And a system once built runs on its own. So here's the final truth. You don't need to become a different person. You just need to become a slightly better version of yourself every single day. Not through grand gestures, not through punishment or shame, but through small, deliberate, repeatable actions that align with who you want to be. Microefficiencies aren't about perfection. They're about direction. And if you keep moving in the right direction, even slowly, you'll end up somewhere extraordinary. The question is, are you willing to start? Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, but now, with one small step, one microefficiency, one quiet decision that no one else will notice, but that will change everything. If this resonated with you, consider leaving a like on this video. It helps more people find these ideas. And if you want more content like this, thoughtful, calm, focused on real growth, subscribe to Audiobook Studio. We're building something meaningful here. Thanks for listening.